And at the moment, I don't think we are more than 5 remaining of the High Command.
We are in Padenest suburb. Silo baba ungwenya umlweli wenkululeko ehlangothini lwe-ZPRA. We are here on a matter that is going rounds currently. This matter, Zim GPC News got wind of it at the send-off of late Stanley Kakisa Mleya. The matter is about the bombings that happened during the liberation struggle that happened in Harare. Yesterday morning, we lost one of war veterans on the ZANLA side, Perrance Shiri, who was a marshal. In the biography that is being read, it is said Perrance Shiri is one of the people that bombed fuel tanks in Harare, then Salisbury. So lapho sizaqedisisa kini baba ngwenya ukuthi kahle kahle kunekwenzakalayo eHarare ngesikhathi sempi ngesikhathi kwakuthiwa yiSalisbury kunekwenzakalayo ngaleso sikhathi.
In short, I must be very specific. Me as a retired colonel from the services, I'm still part and parcel of the system. When you ask me about such a question about fuel tanks in Harare, as far as when we came back, before I can narrate, when I was working at headquarters in Harare, when those of our comrades in the ZANLA section claiming that they were involved in the bombing of the fuel tanks, immediately I would approach, they would stop talking about it because they knew they were not the ones who bombed the fuel tanks. I'll narrate shortly what position would have been those who bombed the fuel tanks. Those, as far as I understand, as I know, they were at a little bit high ground, Kambuzuma, at Kambuzuma. Kambuzuma is a township in Harare.
Yes.
That is where it was specifically clear that they can easily bomb the petrol tanks. It is as good as all that.
So, were you part and parcel of those who bombed the petrol tanks in Harare?
Unfortunately, I was not, because I was chief of logistics.
Okay.
But there are people who were operating in that area, because my operational area was the west, and the east was Mike Ronalds, the late colored, who was in charge of operations. But I think people like Ungwenya, who was in charge of that area, is the person who can specifically tell you that this is what happened.
Ungwenya engubani ibizo lakhe?
Ungwenya lo Richard Ngwenya.
Richard Ngwenya.
Yes.
So the cadres who bombed the petrol tanks in Harare were from the ZPRA element of the liberation struggle.
Correct. Specifically. I personally, I was involved in the Wanky Battles. In Sipolilo, I was not, to be very specific. But all those areas, taking into account all the areas in Zambia, along the Zambezi, I used to move a lot.
Okay. So you wouldn't have the names of the cutters that bombed the petrol tanks?
Not really, not really, not really, because it was not so special for me to get that information. Okay. Me as a logistic man.
Okay. But we can say it vehemently that it was not the bombing cannot be attributed to the former Air Marshal, the late Perrance shiri.
Whoever says he was involved, I don't know whether he had joined ZPRA. Because as far as I know, I operated both in Mozambique and Zimbabwe. During liberation, ZPRA, that is ZANLA and ZPRA combined, where I was one of the deputies in the logistics.
Okay.
And I was involved again, Beira Corridor.
You mentioned that ZPRA was in Mozambique, but our history, the history that we have come to know, doesn't state that ZPRA operated in Mozambique. It was like the ZANLA forces are the only ones that operated from Mozambique.
Well, we operated as ZPRA. ZPRA was a combination of ZANLA and ZPRA.
Okay.
Actually, the idea there was to swallow ZPRA.
Okay.
That was the idea of the late Tanganyika President Nyerere, because he was saying, how can he be so popular than him who is ruling?
Okay. Can you briefly tell us about ZPRA bases in Southern Africa where former cutters were trained? Like you mentioned Angola.
We had our biggest camp was in Angola, Boma.
Okay.
That is almost Luso, border with Namibia in Angola. We had another one in Tanzania, which is Tanganyika. This camp, even when we were in Mozambique, during our ZPRA, those who were taken into that camp were telling us that Usigogi, his training was suicide, because it was so specific.
Okay, who was Usigogi?
Mlotshwa, the late.
The late.
Yes.
He was training Amakatas to be suicidal or to
not suicidal. They were saying it's suicidal. The tactics he was using.
Okay. So there was a base in Angola, there was a base in Tanganyika, in Tanzania.
Yes.
We have famously heard of Zambia.
Zambia, we had camps right all over the country.
In Zambia?
Yes. Just along the Zambezi, we had several camps, different camps.
So when ZPRA specifically came into the then Rhodesia to fight the Rhodesian forces, from which angles were they coming from? Botswana, Zambia, Mozambique, South Africa?
We were operating using the Zambian border, crossing the Zambezi, of which the ZANLA cutters refused when we combined ZANLA and ZPRA. They said that one is an obstacle, the Zambezi River. Not to forget, the person who was operating in the area of Spolilo was Mataure.
Mataure was in ZPRA.
Yes. He was a very good cutter, front commander.
So, what can you tell us about the Liberation Struggle? Why did you go to war? When you came back, are you living the life that you went to war for? Is it what you expected to happen after the war?
It's not really. It is. We are not really kept as much as one would expect as war veterans. We would like the person who is in charge to look after us. Especially us in ZPRA. We were trained not to revolt against the leadership. I will not talk about the other parties. There were parties formed, ZANLA, ZANU, Frolis, and so on. The Mzorewa parties, yes.
You keep on referring to ZIPA. I doubt that many born frees or even other elders know that there is anything called ZIPA. Even myself, I think it's in recent years that I heard that there is something called ZIPA. Who suggested that the ZANLA and the ZIPRA forces be meshed together and form ZIPA?
Actually, this was agreed when it was proposed by Nyerere. His idea was to swallow ZIPRA.
Okay.
But all the same, we formed ZIPRA and were deployed in Mozambique. We were a minority, to be very frank.
The ZIPRA cutters?
Yes, but well-trained. Even when we got to Mozambique, we found the ZANLA, there were so many. Widow, it was a mixture. Yes, but all the same, ours were well trained, because I remember when we were in ZIPA, I used to go up to the border during deployment from Tete right to Kwangala. Kwangala is at the border, South Africa, Mozambique and Zimbabwe. Right in the south, from the north.
So in a nutshell, you could say ZIPRA cutters did fight from all these angles.
Yes.
Fighting the Smith regime at that time.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That is wonderful. Lastly, on Perrance Shiri, do you personally know Perrance Shiri?
I happened to know him when we had come back during the
integration.
Yes, after the integration. That's when I started knowing him.
Okay.
Because we were being integrated. ZANLA, ZPRA, Rotation Army, by the British military training team.
Okay.
That is where I happened to meet Emerson Mnangagwa.
Okay.
Shiri, I don't remember meeting him. He might have been. I've got the pictures. You'll have to look at them. But I don't remember. But I remember meeting people like Rex Nongo, Odzino, and a few. Nyazona, you know the Nyazona. I happen to have been to that camp, but not sleeping.
Okay. So you did go to Nyazona?
Yes.
Where it is said a lot of ZANLA cadres died?
Yes, where the artisans went in singing and then started shooting. Massacre.
Thank you.
And one incident at Tete, we're right at the bank of the Zambezi. When we woke up in the morning, they started singing Pasinai, Pasinai. Then I told Nyanyi, who was our intelligence officer, I said, no, the situation is volatile. Somebody will go. Let's get out of this camp. Then we went out of the camp. As we went through the gate, the boy asked, where are you going? We told him, how can you ask commanders where they are going? After a few meters, the other one started running to say, no, don't go, don't go. Then I said to Tumyani, no, don't worry. Just show him the pistol. This Yatliwa in loco. Then the boy retreated. That's how we survived. And then the other incident was when the Mozambicans in Chimoyo wanted to hand us over to ZANLA. Those of us who had remained after the breakdown of ZPRA. When we were at the parade, they were ready to take us to their camp. I personally asked a question, out of us here, whom do you know? Then they said, we don't know anybody. I said, you don't know? You don't know me? I'm here, I'm one of the deputies, and that served us.
That's quite a mystery. We're coming back to now. Let's come back to now. How are you surviving? Are you being taken care of? Are you getting a pension from the government? Do you get treatment, special treatment, or for free when you go to government facilities? How are you surviving?
Well, it's hectic because at the moment, I'm a member of the Premier
Service medical.
Yes, but for you to go and see the doctor, you have to pay a shortfall of 800 pound before you can go for treatment. Medical, nothing. But some of us who have been in the force survive by going to the camp. That's when we get
Treatment.
No, we get the medical assistance like tablets and so on. But this lady again, Ngube, at Mhlanhlandlela, at times I see a man will be bringing maybe a packet of meal for me, because here I stay at my late first wife before I went to war. You know, I went to war as early as 62.
1962.
I'm in let's forget that book by Mkhululi. I'm in the interview of Velapi. I have Mkhululi having interviewed me twice. Upatisa about 4 times.
I'm still worried about your welfare. Is the government doing enough? Because there is a Ministry of War Veterans. Is it doing anything to assist in your welfare? Now that you said
verbally,
yes,
is supposed to be doing that, but physically, no. But some of us are so disciplined.
Yes.
We're not going to. We don't have to revolt and say why, and so on.
Yes.
We talk nicely. Committees come. They will interview people and disappear, never want to see your face. People like us. We are the first. And at the moment, I don't think we are more than 5 remaining of the High Command of ZPRA.
Okay. Do you know Khatebe?
Khatebe was one of our first cutters, where Boaz really regretted about him. I know him very, very well. If it was not that he went into jail, he would have been one of the members of the High Command. That's a man like Moffat Khatebe, Maluzo Ndlovu. We mentioned a few.
Yes. I hear that Khatebe is ill, is terribly ill.
Yes.
We haven't seen him yet.
No, because I don't have transport.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
If you happen to visit him, we will arrange that we come and collect you so that you can go and see him as well.
Yes. I would be very, very, very grateful.
Yes.
Okay. And then there are a lot of things that must have happened. The war veterans, hardly can you hear that somebody has been flown out for treatment.
Yes.
But the people in government, they fly in and out every now and then.
Yes.
But we have not picked up arms against those. It is the government of the people. You respect it.
On a closing note, what would you want the government or the Ministry of War Veterans specifically to do for you? Or what message can you tell them that they can do for you, for your survival?
Look, I personally, when I retired, I served 9 months covering the whole of Midlands during the drought, 93.
93 years.
And then after that, I stayed home. I was staying in Harare. The next place I went was Iraq, when the Americans were disarming Saddam. I saw how Saddam had kept his military people, his officers. So that is one thing we would have liked to see. Even that's what you would like to see, things like what is happening in South Africa. They look after their war veterans. People like Joe Modise used to visit me in Harare because we were together, Wonky Petlis. Chris Hani were so close. Before Luthuli House was named Luthuli House, you know what it was called? It was Shelley House.
Shelley House, okay.
There were people like Masondo who died in Angola. Yes. But ANC did a lot for us, especially in ZPRA and ZPRA.
Okay. That is very good. That is very good.
And I understand the history as such, Frelimo.
Yes, Frelimo.
The first weapon they used, they got from ZAP.
In Frelimo?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So ZAPU...
They had a tendency again of raiding the offices in Dar es Salaam, Frelimo.
Okay.
I personally was involved in a lot of things, like when there was a coup in Zapo, I served in Como.
There was a coup in Zapo?
Yes.
Okay.
By all time, Tim Kulu and a group. There's one person who is still surviving, Aaron Love.
Okay.
And then when they bombed his house and they won, we sent the message from the front.
Here or in Zambia?
In Zambia.
In Zambia. Nkomo's house was bombed in Zambia?
Yes.
Okay.
We intercepted a message. Over. We're on ground ready to hit. And I told my driver to drive to Livingstone from Kasungula. And then I phoned and I told them that all the leaders should not sleep at their normal houses. And that is how Nkomo survived.
Okay. What happened to Walter Mtimko?
He was in the UK.
Okay.
Yes. Omziletulwan, who was working at Mhlanhlandlela, was one of them.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Thank you very much, Baba. Thank you for giving us this time to talk to you.
Yes.
We'll find more time to come and discuss the war per se. We need to understand. We need to tell these young born frees what really transpired.
Yes, you can see my photos.
Okay. Yeah, it's fine.
Of integration.
Yes.
Then ZNA command, high command, after integration. I worked right through the logistics until I retired.
Thank you.